Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to STR Wrestling Review. Today, we have one of the busiest professional wrestlers in all of Canada. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. He is the Charismatic Lightning Rod. Of course, we're talking about the crazy mother Cam ikaze. How are you doing today?
Hello. Thank you so much. That was an amazing introduction. I really
Thank you.
appreciate that. You did your homework. You're good. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, firstly, I want to go all the way back to your origins. Who or what got you into wrestling?
It was my father, Papa Kazi, was the first one to expose me to professional wrestling. I was very young. I remember my dad had a VHS tape of WrestleMania 3. And I remember seeing Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan and the Pontiac Silverdome, 93,173 people stacked in that place. A sea of humanity, the pageantry, Ricky Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental. Yeah, oh yeah, is right. Like just unbelievable, just the memories. That's where it all started. That's where I got captivated. Yeah, I'd have to say it started with Papa Kazi for sure.
I love that name. How did the rest of your family react to you wanting to become a wrestler when you made that choice?
Well, Dad was very supportive, and I started backyard wrestling actually from
Mhm.
1999 to 2004, from age 12 to 17.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and my dad built like a ring out of our trampoline. We called it the Trampo Ring. It was called Crazy Mofo Wrestling, CMF Wrestling, and Dad was very supportive. And any little money he put into the trampoline, kept it even Steven, and gave money to my sister, kept things even between us all the time. But my mother, God bless her soul, like she supported me, but she sure didn't like her son flying around, taking risks in the backyard, jumping off the garage, going through tables and doing all kinds of crazy stunts. God bless her. She couldn't stop me. There's no way you could stop me, but I look back at things now and I'm very grateful and thankful for her putting up with all that and allowing me to go forth with those dreams. Yeah, she's always been supportive, but she has a hard time watching it, which is understandable.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't, I don't blame her at all. You know, it is a physical thing. So
Mhm. What was it training and what was it like training and doing backyard wrestling? Because that's like a whole different type of stuff
yeah,
that you're doing today.
it is. It was a different animal. Basically, I was looking into things. I wanted to get trained. I wanted to get into the business, into the industry, but I was just too young. The
Mm,
closest wrestling school was the Hart Wrestling School out of
mm.
Calgary, and yeah, you had to be 18 years old. And I remember even Bruce Hart wanted American money. He was going to charge us American money, which would have been like double Canadian what it was.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "That's a ripoff. We're not doing that." So I had to wait and be patient, but I couldn't wait. I took matters into my own hands. Me and my buddies, there's four of us in total, and we just studied tape. We put things in slow motion, and I still do this to this day, putting things in slow motion, seeing how things are executed. We took it very seriously and treated it very professionally, to be honest with you. I put up a lot of our stuff against modern indie-rific stuff you see today. We really tried hard and took it seriously, and we had a practice dummy as well, and we'd practice things on the dummy first before starting with other human beings and bodies. Uh, I don't know. We tried our best to be professional, and I think the footage speaks for itself. I'll have to send you a link here, actually, of that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Did,
how it started in the backyard, and it
mhm.
was a golden time. A golden.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
a lucky child. Lucky child. It was a great childhood.
When you started wrestling as a kid and even way after that, did you ever wrestle as any other characters?
Yes. So we had four, technically five different characters in CMF wrestling in the backyard. We had whoever wasn't wrestling would be an announcer as they were filming and working the camera, and they just do commentary. And we all had characters as a commentator. Mine was Jim Styles, which was a mix of Jim Ross and Joey Styles. And then my other characters, I wrestled as four different characters, and it'd be, you know, it'd be a commonplace to wrestle like quadruple duty in one show. Uh, and I was so young, and you're just invincible when you're so young, age 15 and stuff like that. You can just go, go, go. But yeah, I'd wrestle four times a night a lot of times,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah. So my characters though, was the inconsiderate innovator, Mr. Cameron, which was like a mixture of like D-Generation X, and he did like a lot of martial arts kicks. And then he kind of looked like Raven. He had like cut off jeans and a black T-shirt. And then I had a character called the Vigilante, and he had like a black singlet with yellow writing on the back and said the Vigilante on the back. And he was from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. He never talked, and he was more of the technical style. I do all the technical stuff and suplexes with him. And then I had another character called the Hardcore Pyromaniac Inferno, and he was like the hardcore guy. He just brawled and fought and bled and did hardcore stuff. And yeah, that character is really like the start of like Kamikaze in a lot of respects. When you watch footage of that, just being all crazy and kooky and whatnot. And then the last character was the show stealer, Cam the Man. And he was kind of like a Rob Van Dam version of myself, and just extremely high flying and stealing the show and doing all kinds of crazy high risk maneuvers. And yeah, those were the four characters. That's how it all started there. And my nickname was Kamikaze in high school, and they'd chant Kamikaze during my matches. And that's kind of how it segued into Kamikaze in the professional ranks. I wanted to be Cam the Man when I debuted in wrestling, professional wrestling, and everyone was like, "No, you can't be Cam the Man. That's lame. You can't." So I chose Kamikaze. That's how that all started, to be honest.
That is so cool. I was gonna ask you about how you got your name. That is such a good story to tell. Mhm. So, if you could bring back one of your characters, even fighting them versus Kamikaze, who do you
Right.
think it would be?
I think I'd have to dust off Cam the Man, the show stealer Cam the Man. I think he'd be a good heel this day and age, and yeah, it'd be fun to portray that. Actually, bring
Mhm.
out, do what I always wanted to do from the beginning, and dust off Cam the Man.
Was there anything that you ever wanted to do besides being a wrestler?
When I was young in high school, I really took to drama class, acting,
Mm.
and I was really good at it too. I won awards and stuff like that, and I even went to college for a year before I moved to Edmonton and started training to be a professional wrestler. I just to try it out. My uncle was a doctor, and he just said, "Give it a try, give college a try." So I did. I went for a year, and I went for a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Drama and Acting, and I did. I had fun. I did great. Besides English class, that was probably my weakest point, but everything else I did great. And I just decided, I just like the physicality behind wrestling a little more, and the creativity, and I went down that road. I was blessed with athleticism and a mind to always learn and continue to soak things in and figure things out. So the aptitude, I should say. So yeah, wrestling just seemed a lot more challenging. They're both kind of crazy pipe dreams, to be honest, but I chose wrestling. But yeah, acting would have been, is
Mhm.
wrestling or acting for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for me, for so many years, probably like 4 or 5 years, I only wanted to be an actor. It wasn't for
Right.
the fame. I just absolutely loved it.
Oh, it's
But then,
fun.
yeah, very fun. Then I saw wrestling, and it had part of acting when you during the
Yes.
promos and everything,
Yes.
and it was the perfect mixture of it all.
I agree. That's so well said. It had everything you love about acting, the performance, the pageantry, but there's just a little more grittiness behind it, physicality, toughness. It's not for everyone, and not everyone can do it. There's no safety nets, literally and figuratively. Like there's no, insurance or anything like that. Like a job would give you insurance and benefits. It's all you, and it's a big challenge. Some people think it's crazy to go down that road, but those are part of the reasons that enticed me even more, because it was such a big challenge and so difficult, is that you just don't have those safety nets that a regular job would provide for you. I don't know. I'm just a different type of person. You have to be a different type of person to do this, to be honest. But yeah, those are some of the things. Just wrestling just had a little bit more than acting had, with just all the different combinations of things.
Yeah, and for you, I'd say you're so lucky because you were one of the few that got to train with Rowdy Roddy Piper
Right.
and Lance Storm. That is so amazing, firstly. Like, that is so cool to be able to say one of the few as well. What did you take away from those experiences?
Well, I'm very grateful. Like Lance Storm polished me up. I trained with him in 2012, And I remember prior to that, I was injured with a torn ACL and I was out for almost a year. Oh, I was out for a year actually. And I would still show up to events and watch. And Lance Storm would book for the Prairie Wrestling Alliance in Calgary and Edmonton. And I'd still show up to the shows and hang out, but I'd sit by Lance by his side and watch him critique and watch the whole event. And I'd just listen. I'd just soak everything up and listen to what he had to say, watching him critique and pick apart everybody performing. And that's when I started to learn about listening to a crowd and feeling a crowd and just getting those instincts. And then when I was healed up, I trained with Lance, and it was the best decision I could have made, to be honest. He's a hell of a trainer, a great trainer. And I personally always think like it's great to be trained by him, but if you already have some past experience and then you go train with him, you just soak things up that much more and understand things that much more and level up in a different way than if you're just like fresh off the boat and try to figure it all out. So I was lucky. He polished me up and broke a lot of bad habits that I never knew that I had. And then he closed the school down, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean, I'm lucky to be a part of that alumni that got to train with him. And then with Roddy Piper, that's a small little minute group of
Oh yeah.
people that got to train with him. And I'm lucky to be a part of that. Piper's a legend. There would be no WrestleMania without him and Hulk Hogan. He was definitely a catalyst and the antagonist in that whole feud and helping things get going with him and Hogan and WrestleMania. And what a hell of a heel. One of the best heels at that time. Hell of a talker. And that was the biggest thing I took away from Piper was just the talking, the promo. And it didn't like happen overnight. I soaked everything in, and it took a while to apply it all and test things out and throw things to the wall, see what stuck. But I credit Roddy Piper for my promos and where I'm at today. I joke around and say it feels like I'm almost possessed by Roddy Piper because now I'm at a level where I just can just switch it on and turn it on. And I'm on cruise control. I'm on just autopilot. Like I'm like possessed almost. And I just joke and say it's Roddy Piper just puppeteering, pulling the strings and having me do my thing. Cause like, it's just, I can't even explain it. Practice makes perfect and I'm not perfect, but practice, reps. And I've been doing that with promos. And now I'm at a point where like, I can just go about anything at any time. And I feel confident about it. And I thank Roddy Piper for that.
hmm Yeah, absolutely. Roddy Piper was so gifted on the microphone. I've seen your promos online. I can definitely see the influence from him. What do you say? Oh, of course. What do you say that your favorite promo is because of what he taught you?
Of mine or just in general promos?
Any promo
Any
ever.
promo
hmm
ever? Oh boy, that's a loaded question. There's so
Favorite
many
good
good
ones.
ones. Uh Mick Foley had some really good ones. Terry Funk.
Mm.
Oh geez, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man. There's just so many good talkers. It's a crazy one. CM Punk is great.
Oh yeah.
Um, there's just Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman can
Oh,
just go.
he's
Um,
amazing.
he is amazing. To think of one specific one, oh geez, Macho Man comes to mind. The cream of the crop. That's such a classic. Dusty Rhodes, Hard Times is a classic. Oh geez. There's so many damn good ones. It's hard to just pick one. There's a good vignette of Steve Austin doing one with Bret Hart when he's like coming back at the Survivor Series, I think it is. And it's like a vignette style, but it's still a promo. And it's just so good. It's just so damn good. There's so many. Steve Austin too is just deserves to be right in there. The Rock. How could you forget The Rock?
Oh yeah.
Um, and that's another thing too is I look at The Rock and he's a bit of an influence in just like mixing the comedy and the seriousness together, just being entertaining. And that's kind of what I've tried to be is just entertaining. There's just so damn many. I'll probably come back to that and think of like a more specific one, but there's just so many good ones. It's insane. It really is insane.
The list goes on and
The
on
list
for
goes
that.
on.
But how about for you? Do you have a favorite promo of yours?
Oh geez. I caught a really crazy one. I was in like a 6-way scramble for High Impact Wrestling in like 2014, and I just like roasted all five guys one after another. That one stands out to me. Um, recently, I've had some fun ones just in general. I had a fun one for Savio Vega. I like dressed up like him, like a chulo, and I like rapped and stuff. And I don't know, there's a lot of good ones. I have quite a long list now. I look on YouTube and it's like never ending all these promos I'm doing, but that's what it is. It's practice, practice, reps and reps. You keep doing it, you just get that much better at it. It's all about experience. No different than working matches, getting the reps, getting better at it. So yeah, it's never ending.
Mhm. Well, what is one of the ways that you keep improving?
There was a fun one I used to do back in the day with friends in the business. You just like leave a voicemail or a voice note and cut a promo on them. And, it could just be unrated and just go off on them. And then it's their job to listen to it and then send you a voicemail or a voice memo back and fire back at you. And that's how you practice, just back and forth, back and forth. Another good one, I did this in the UK with a lot of the young guys when I was out there wrestling, is you're on these long car rides, group of like 4 or 5 guys in a car, and you just take turns cutting promos and you just pick a subject matter and who you're wrestling and then go. You got like a minute or two and then it's the next guy's turn and the next guy's turn and the drive goes faster and it's entertaining. You're making everyone laugh and it's practice. It's fun, good practice. So you got to make it fun. So those are some of the tricks. But you should be able to just do it in the car, in the bathroom, in the mirror. Look at your facial expressions. You should get to the point where you should be able to just cut one about anything, anytime, anywhere, any place. Like I can just cut one on the fence post that I'm driving past on the road. That's the level you should try and strive for and get to. So it's good.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna start sending my friends those voice memos, especially
They're
the ones
fun.
who aren't wrestling fans. Like, it doesn't matter.
That's right. No, that's how it's done. That's how you get good is practice. And it's a fun way to do it too.
hmm Yeah, I also spend so many hours in front of the mirror just
Good.
looking at myself saying, it doesn't matter.
But yeah, that's another thing. It goes along with acting as well. Like an actor would do the same thing and study your facial expressions and your tones and different cadences and little gestures. That's all the same. It goes hand in hand. Acting and professional wrestling, they are one and the same in a lot of respects. So it makes perfect sense.
hmm So you also brought up the UK, and when you were there for
Right.
7 months, right?
Correct. Yes.
And you wrestled 70 matches in that
Yes, I
time.
did.
That's
Absolutely.
insane. How was
Yeah.
that experience?
Oh, it was awesome. That's another one of those things. I'm glad I went and did that. I went in cold. Like I didn't know anybody out there. I had one friend who used to wrestle. His name was Dick Richards, and he might actually make a comeback here. Hopefully, return to Canada. But he was like the only person I knew. So I went out there, and he let me stay with him for 2 months. And I hit up a couple different training schools out there. I remember he was out in Weymouth, I think, which is a nice little beach town out there. But it was kind of far from London. It was about 2 hour bus ride to London. So I'd take a 2 hour bus from Weymouth to London and get lost on the tube, the underground railway system out there. Didn't know anything, didn't know where I was going. And I go to this wrestling school and train and then I'd make my way back to Weymouth. Maybe I get a hotel, stay a couple days and put in some time. But yeah, it was expensive and it was
Oh
quite
yeah.
the life experience, just going on an adventure to say the least. But I don't regret it. It was awesome. I remember when I first landed that I was booked for a wrestling class that day. So I got into London and I went straight to wrestling school as soon as I got there. And it was like a 12-hour, 14-hour flight or whatever it was. And I went straight into the ring as soon as I landed, basically. And a lot of the guys were just calling me an animal, saying I was crazy. But I got a lot of respect from a lot of the guys quickly. And
Yeah.
yeah, they're so technical out there. They're so well trained. Their trainees are on another level compared to us in North America. And they wait. They don't just throw them in after 3 months and just start wrestling. Like some of these guys hadn't wrestled yet, had matches in front of people, and they've been training for 6 months to a year or even longer. And it blew my mind because I'm training with these guys and like they're good enough to be on events and shows,
Yeah.
but they're just like they really take the time with these new trainees and make sure they're ready and technically sound. And I love technical wrestling, so I fit right in. I fit right in with just rolling around in that British wrestling style, the world of sport style. I did a lot of British rounds matches, which are so much fun. They're similar to 2 out of 3 falls matches, which are awesome too, but with their own British twist, have like rounds instead of falls. It was great. I miss it. The food was fantastic. It's all like natural. They don't have a lot of like here in North America. We have a lot of junk in our food. They put a lot of preservatives and stuff like that. But out there, it's still pretty natural. And there's still heavy regulations on
Mhm.
food and stuff like that. So there was a big difference with the food out there. Yeah, I want to
Mhm.
go back.
Yeah, I'd love to go there in the first place, honestly.
Hmm.
I've had friends who go to the UK. I have a friend whose family is from the UK, and
Nice.
every time he comes back, he just says how amazing it is, and I
It
always
is.
get a little bit jealous, but sounds amazing.
It absolutely is. Highly suggest you go if you can. And everything's just so old. Like they preserve all their architecture. They have laws that you're not allowed to tamper and change like the windows and the doors. Everything has to stay the way it was like hundreds of years ago. So everything's very well preserved and it's like just beautiful countryside. I lived on a farm, a sheep farm, with a wrestler named Nathan Angel. And actually, the news just got out. I can finally say it. He just got signed to WWE. He's
Oh
relocated
wow,
to Florida. He's at
that's
the Performance
amazing.
Center, and he might end up on NXT soon. So keep an eye out for Nathan Angel. So, but yeah, I lived with him, and we herded sheep in our spare time. And we didn't have a lot of spare time. We were wrestling a lot, but we trained together and lived on the farm together. And I owe him a lot, him and his family. They really took care of me. It was an adventure. It was a crazy adventure. Didn't think
Mhm.
I'd ever end up on a farm herding sheep. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Getting signed to WWE, that's
Right?
something people think about so many years before. To finally have that happen, it must feel so rewarding. So that is amazing.
Yes. Congratulations, Nathan. Well deserved. The kid's a stud. He's only like 22 years old, and he's a
Wow.
natural.
Yeah, that is amazing though. Now, going back a little, because we could talk about how cool that is for ages. That really is amazing. But for you, like I said in the intro, you're one of the busiest wrestlers in Canada. That means you're traveling as much as people in, TNA, New Japan, AEW, WWE. What is it like on the road?
It's a grind. It's not for everybody, but I do enjoy it. I've gotten in a good groove of just like packing my essentials and what I need to survive. I always pack all my meals with me, so I don't spend any money on the road. I'm in the business of making money, not spending money. So that's a big tricky one. A lot of guys struggle with because they're always going to the diners and stopping at the gas stations and grabbing things. I'm very frugal. I'm here to make money. I don't. D'Lo Brown said it best. He gave me some good advice. He said, you don't want to leave the money you just made in the town you were just at. So whatever
Mm,
you make, you got to hang on to that and bring it home with you. So I always try and pack my meals and ration my food best that I can. Um, but when you're talking about like the schedules of like WWE and AEW and TNA, uh, things have changed. Like I'm wrestling more than a lot of WWE superstars are now this day and age. Their schedules have been cut back. They're making way more money, but
mhm,
they're not wrestling as much as they used to. But I like it. Like I said, it's about the reps and it's about the experience and it's about interacting with all these great people in all the cities and towns you go to. That's how it was done back in the day in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s is you just grind it away night after night doing this for a living. That's what I always wanted to do, and I'm blessed that I'm doing it. It's fun, living the dream, as they say, doing what I love to do. No complaints. I can't complain. I have no reason to complain. This is
mhm.
what I wanted, and now I'm getting it. But yeah, the road life is, I travel and tour around with Canadian Wrestling's Elites. That's my bread and butter, and they have gym sponsors everywhere we go. So we get to go to the gym for free. Got hotel sponsors, so that's all covered, hotel and gym. And so you're just working out, doing what you love to do, and going to a different city and town every night. And doing your thing. It's a lot of fun. It's a grind, but it's fun.
Because you travel so much and have been to so many countries, cities, provinces, I'm assuming states as well, is
Yeah.
there a favorite place that you've been to so far?
Oh man, the UK for sure. That definitely. I would say in Canada, like Medicine Hat, which is my hometown, the crowds here are amazing. Winnipeg is amazing for crowds. Saskatoon is awesome. Estevan, little old Estevan is amazing as well in Saskatchewan. Regina, I have so much family out there. Yorkton and Prince Albert really stand out as well. Edmonton and Calgary are good ones. And then British Columbia, I'm really enjoying my time out there. Excuse me. The fans are just awesome. The promoters are awesome. The people are awesome out there. It's just easygoing lifestyle. British Columbia has been a lot of fun out that way too. And then Ontario. How could I forget Ontario? There's a lot of good places in Ontario. A lot of good fans, dedicated fans, and people. It's been good. It's hard to pick just one, but Thunder Bay, Ontario is crazy. We have some really good crowds out there. Um, yeah, it's it's hard just to pick one, but it's it's a blessing. You can't take it for granted, you know.
Yeah, again, that's so cool you get to travel. I don't think I've been anywhere west of Ottawa, so
Okay,
that's so cool you've seen a large portion of all that area.
yeah, it's true from west to east. I'd love to get out to more to the east coast spots, more in Ontario. Ottawa would be cool too. But there's a place called Capital City Wrestling out of is it Nova Scotia? I think they run out of in Prince Edward Island. I'd love to get out there. Their crowds are looking awesome out there, and I know the promoter and some of my friends work there, and that's one of the places I'd like to get out next year in the new year for sure.
Yeah, that's so cool. I'd love to see you more across Canada, more across the world, even.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the goal. Is more worldwide international exposure. 100%.
Mhm.
I'd love to go to Japan and get
Oh
back
yeah.
to the UK and Europe as well. Like when you get to the UK, everything's so close. You can hop on a train and you're in Germany and you're France and Ireland and stuff like that. So everything's pretty close when you get out to Europe. So
Mhm.
definitely need to. You don't want to stay in one place for too long. I've been back in Canada for the last 2 years, and I feel like I can still go a little longer here, but the time is coming where I'm probably going to have to, you know, change it up and change my scenery and go international somewhere once again.
And I think also because you're doing all these shows, you must have seen these beautiful like stages and beautiful clean rings. Have you ever dealt with a show that turned out to be a disaster?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of those. Absolutely, you get everything. You go from the outhouse to the penthouse, or the penthouse to the outhouse, whichever you prefer. There's nights where you're on top of the world, wrestling in front of hundreds of thousands of people in a nice venue, good ring, and then the next night you're in this little crappy little bar or this little dingy Legion with a terrible ring that's falling apart and terrible padding and awful opponents. Like wrestling's like that. You'll go from one extreme to the other. So yeah, there's been no shortage of that. That just comes with the territory of grinding away and doing this at a higher level and a consistent level. You're going to get the good, the bad, and everything in between. So yeah, definitely, it just comes with the territory.
Yeah, that's so cool that one night you're in this beautiful grand state like arena or stadium, then the next night you're like just in front of some dudes drinking at the bar.
That's right. It's from the penthouse to the outhouse. Absolutely, absolutely.
hmm So, you know, being at all these shows, of course there's the disasters, but do you remember any really hilarious, funny moments at a show?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of good ones actually. Well, what comes to mind? You just saying that. Um, I was on Tony Candelo's Northern Death tour. Have you ever heard of those before?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, so like a lot of the stars back in the day used to do those, like Edge and Christian and Jericho and Lance Storm and Rhino. Um, you basically wrestle in northern Manitoba for this old school promoter named Tony Condello, and you have to go on these reserves, Aboriginal reserves up north. And the only time you can do this is in February when it's super cold and the lakes freeze over, and you can drive over these frozen lakes and you go wrestle in these communities. And it was my first time on the road, my first tour I ever did in 2006. And I was 19, 20 years old at the time. And I was on the road with a couple little wrestlers, midget wrestlers. Frenchie Lamont was one of them. And he's an old school guy. I think he may have passed away. May he rest in peace. But he had been wrestling for like 40 years at that point. And another one of the little mini wrestlers was, I forget his name now, but he was like a kleptomaniac. And he would steal from all the schools that we stayed at in the communities. He would steal just like the weirdest things: construction paper, scissors, hole punchers, toilet paper. And the promoter, Tony Condello, heard about this and gave him crap. And he was getting complaints that someone's stealing stuff from the communities and the schools. And so they played a joke on him, a big rib. The referee had like, oh yeah, he was stealing glue sticks too. It was bizarre. So the referee had these glue sticks in his pocket. You know when the referee like checks your opponent at the beginning of the match and checks the knee pads and stuff? Well, they like played a trick on this kleptomaniac, and they're like checking his knee pad, and then the referee pulls out a glue stick, and then he looks over at Tony and he shows him the glue stick, and the little mini wrestler's like, "No, Tony, no." It's just like you had to be there. It's just one of those things, just messing with him and playing tricks with him, ribbing him basically. But that one stands out as like pretty hilarious. Actually, I filmed that. It's on video. Maybe I should put that on YouTube one of these days.
Have you ever had to deal with disrespectful fans though?
Oh yeah, I mean, like they paid their ticket and their hard-earned money. They can say whatever they want to say. I've been pretty lucky. I mean, people are vocal, but like they're just words. They can't hurt you. You know, that's what a lot of people this day and age need to realize. They're just words. But I have seen times where a drunken fan was ran in the ring during like a battle royal or something, and then one of the boys just like knocked this guy out and broke his fist in the process from punching him so
Oh,
hard.
wow.
I've seen stuff like that, but I've been very lucky. I mean, like you get, they'll heckle you or they'll say mean things, but it's comes with the territory. It's at least thankfully it's not like the days of Roddy Piper when he's getting nuclear white heat
Oh
and
yeah.
guys are stabbing him and throwing battery acid at him, and like they wanted to kill these guys, or they'd like slash their tires of their cars and stuff like that, or
Wow.
smash in their windows in their cars, and that's on a whole other level. So no, I'm lucky we don't have anything like that this day and age. So that's always a good thing.
hmm Now, we went from the good and bad shows to the good moments, then the bad moments.
Yeah.
Now I want to change the subject a little bit. Now I wanted to ask you, do you prefer tag team matches or one-on-one matches?
I prefer singles matches just because I don't know, maybe I'm being selfish, but the spotlight's on you more, and you can showcase yourself a little more and tell a good story, especially if you got some time, put in a good story and put in some good time and take the people on a roller coaster. However, tag team wrestling, the art of tag team wrestling is a whole other animal. And
Oh
I
yeah.
always have enjoyed tag team wrestling. I've had multiple different tag team partners over the years. And that's an art in itself. And you can take them on a whole different journey and a whole different story in tag team wrestling. So I can't knock it either. And I do enjoy tag team matches as well. But if I had to pick, I would go down the singles road for sure.
How about long storylines versus one-on-one matches or one-off-one matches?
Well, I mean, like, there's a room and a place for all that stuff, especially on like a local card. They'll just be like exhibition matches, you can call them. But yeah, you need good stories. You need good storylines. You need to play with people's emotions. That's how you sell tickets and build your audience and make more money, is by having good, enticing, intricate storylines that people can follow and are interested in. and it leaves them wanting to see more and to come back and tell their friends and bring more people. And what's going to happen next month, what's going to happen next event. That's a very important part of this industry, is telling good stories.
Also, how long do wrestlers usually prepare for their match?
That varies. I know the new generation are very A, B, C, D, E, F, G style. They just will every little detail, going through it multiple times over and over and over again. I've hit a point where, thankfully, I've had the experience and have the confidence now that like I can get in there with a lot of people and just have like your finish figured out and a couple little, you know,
A few spots there.
few footnotes of what we want to do, and you can, that's the way it's supposed to be done. That's the true art behind it, is feeling the crowd, feeling the people, having some things in your back pocket, and knowing when the time and place to utilize those things in said back pocket. And the finish is the most important part of the match. That's the most important thing you need to know, is the back end of things, from the false finishes, the finish, the hot comeback, and then everything else. It can be improvised and played with and modified and felt out there while you're out there. But the back end is the most important. You could have a really bad front end of a match, but if your back end is strong and exciting, it won't matter. People can be chatting boring at the beginning, but if you got them on off their seats, jumping up and down and counting the 1, 2, 3 at the end, so what if they were saying boring at the beginning? By the end of it, you got them jumping out of your seat and you got them in the palm of your hand. So the back end of the match is the most important part. So you always work backwards when putting your match together. So that's the true art behind it.
Yeah, I think the matches would be more weak if they have a great beginning, but then the end is like, oh, that's how it ends.
Exactly. It's just like all this, because that's the climax, right? You're getting to the peak of everything. And if it's just a big letdown, it's like a mouse fart. It's just like, psst, like that. We waited all for that.
Yeah.
That's the true art behind this, and just building things up and getting a good roller coaster ride, a wave, peaking, and then, whatever the story might be. But that's a general rule of thumb, is how you want to go about things, putting a match together, for sure.
Before you go out there and fight your opponent backstage, do you have any pre-match rituals?
Yes, I stretch before every event, put in a good half hour to 45 minutes of stretching head to toe. And then I have to warm up. I drink about 2 big jugs of water. I don't care if it makes me look bloated. I just want to make sure I'm hydrated and all my joints and ligaments and tendons are lubricated, and I'm, risk of injury is generally brought down. Your whole body's made up of water. So if you're dry, you're going to tear something. So I make sure I'm very hydrated. And then I run on the spot multiple times to get the blood flowing. And I pump up with bands and stuff like that just to get the blood flowing. And then I also pray right before I go out as well. I pray to God that He protects us. Thank him for the safe travels, for the safety in the ring, and to look after us and entertain the people best that we can, to remember everything we need to do out there, and just put on a good event, and to be with us and protect us. I always pray for protection from God above.
Yeah, I love that. So far during this interview, it seems like you've had a great career. Were there any lows where you thought about maybe I should quit this thing?
Well, I did. I stopped for 7 years, to be honest with you.
Oh wow, yeah.
From 2016 until 2023, when I went to the UK. I was out of the game for 7 years. I kind of gave up on myself. It's a very mentally mutilating industry, but I was in a relationship with a woman, and kind of just, she made me feel really bad for just being a professional wrestler, because you miss out on a lot of things. You miss out on, a lot of moments, special occasions, and the money. When you're grinding away at this, it's hard to make a good living, especially for someone else. If it's just yourself, it's a lot easier. But when you're living with someone else, it was hard to pay the bills and make money for the two of us. So I had a lot of guilt. It felt bad, and I kind of gave up on myself for a long time. I didn't think I'd be back at it, and then by the grace of God, I am back at it. Thankfully, didn't want to waste all those talents away, so here I am. But yeah, I mean, it happened, and I won't let that happen ever again. I can't stop. I can't give up. I have too much support. I have too many people that believe in me. And there's a light at the end of the tunnel down there. I feel confident in my heart. There's a place for me in the wrestling world somewhere on a larger scale than what I'm doing now. But it's a matter of staying on the bus and not getting off and keep on grinding. It's a long grind, but I have the maturity now and the experience and the perseverance and God on my side and family and friends supporting me that I cannot give up. I cannot stop. I cannot.
Yeah, that's that's amazing that you came back. That would have been unfortunate if you had decided not to come back.
Yeah, 7 years is a long time too. And I take a lot of pride in just being able to jump back on the horse and pick up right where I left off, basically, and then take it to another level as well. Yeah, I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Do you think you experienced a lot of ring rust when you came back?
Well, that's when I basically went to the UK. I didn't want to start back in Canada. I felt like I've been there, done that. So I went to the UK and I was sore. I cannot explain to you how beat up and sore I was the first while. Just because it'd been 7 years, I hadn't taken any bumps and done all these crazy things with my body. And I always worked out and took care of myself and stretched, but wrestling is a whole other animal and you got to get adjusted. And it took a while I was just in so much pain. I remember just taking a bath for one of the first times in my life and just like could barely move. I was so stiff and sore. That lasted for a couple weeks, a month or so. And then the body got back into the swing of things and remembered how to do this. But I was very blessed. From age 12, I just kind of trained myself to do this. So I've been a bit of a natural in a lot of respects. And with my time away, I still studied and watched old footage, and I still do to this day. So it's not like I just completely unplugged. I was still always watching and studying stuff. And with that time away, you kind of just like see things in a different perspective. And I applied all that when I came back, and it's been very effective.
Oh, I don't think I could hear you anymore.
There you go.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
perfect. It's all right. Um, I also wanted to ask, do you have any matches lined up? And if you do, do you have anything to say to your opponent?
Well, I have my next match is next Friday in Calgary, Alberta for Real Canadian Wrestling. The opponent is unknown, but Real Canadian Wrestling is going to unleash once again the Charismatic Lightning Rod. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold, but damn it, someone's got to do it, and I'll be doing it in Calgary, Alberta. Cowtown. You'll be banging off and hitting these fists up against whoever wants to take on the crazy mofo. Don't miss a minute of the action. That is going to be happening November 7th, I believe that is, Friday. And then I'm on the big tour, November 14th to December 5th, 22 days for Canadian Wrestling's Elite. The headliner, Austin Aries, former TNA wrestling star, WWE star, Ring of Honor star. I get to tag with him. I get to wrestle him. That's going to be all-out mayhem all across Canada from Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. 22 days. It's going to be wild.
Absolutely. Everyone watching this, mark your calendars. And
Yeah.
I gotta say, I love how you just snapped into the promo just like that.
I could have went more crazier, but I'm kind of holding back on you. I apologize. Yeah, 22 days. No one can lace my boots. No one can go toe to toe with the crazy mofo. I'm here to outshine and take what's mine. And I'm taking everything I can come that 22-day tour, one by one by one. Each day, I'll be getting the W, and I'll be showing why I am one of the busiest and one of the best professional wrestlers in Canada. Hell, maybe even the world. Not maybe. Not maybe. I am, damn it. Woo! There you go. That's just me going off. Sorry.
That is amazing. You definitely are one of the best wrestlers, especially because you were able to get I believe, two TNA tryouts.
That's true. I've had 2 successful tryouts. I wrestled before the doors opened, before they let fans in, and these are more important sometimes than wrestling in front of the crowd. I just did tryouts in front of all the agents, all of talent relations, and the entire locker room. So just think of that, all these eyes watching you, important eyes. And the pressure's on. And I did very well with both of them. I did one in Ontario and then one recently in Edmonton. And it's been very, very, very positive. Some of the most positive experiences with tryouts I've had in a very long time. I'm just going to keep knocking on that door. And it's been very, very good, though. You haven't seen the last of me with TNA wrestling. I think that'd be a good foot in the door for sure. And I'm not going to give up on that. And it's been very positive. I can't stress that enough. So keep your eyes peeled.
Were there any names that we would recognize that you wrestled in front of during your tryouts?
My first tryout was against Matt Black, who was a student of Santino Morella's. He's a wrestler out in Ontario. Yeah. And then in my second tryout, which was in Edmonton, I was in a four-way match with Hayden Avery, who wrestles here in Alberta, with Sean Moore, who's out in Saskatchewan and travels around a lot, and then with Matt Burns, I think his name is, out in Ontario as well. Really jacked up guy. I really enjoyed working with him. I feel like if we had a good singles match with some time, him and I could really get some good fireworks with one another. He was a good veteran and knew what he was doing. So, yeah, it went really well. And we got a lot of praise, too, for doing a four-way in like 5 minutes, putting it all together. And it was very positive. I had a lot of positive feedback from both of those. But the second one, they told me I had a better showing than my first one. So it's been good. I can't complain.
Would you say that your TNA tryouts have been your biggest accomplishment in your career?
I think for most recent things, since I've come back, definitely the biggest highlights for me. Some of the biggest highlights on top of wrestling in the UK. I had a tryout with WWE in 2014. They flew me all expenses paid to the Performance Center for 4 days, and I did a 4-day tryout out that way. Everything was going really good until the last day. It was supposed to be match day, and two guys got in a fight during one of our drills.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a big fight broke out. Everyone was breaking it up, and the trainer at the time, Bill DeMont, he was so mad. He was so angry that he cut the whole day short, and then we didn't get to do matches. So those two guys that got in a fight ruined it for everyone. I basically got flown all the way there to do a bunch of cardio drills. I was lucky. I got to do 2 promos. I was the only guy that got to do 2 promos. But I never got to show them what I had. I never got to wrestle in front of them because of these two guys that got in a fight. Kind of ruined it for everyone else. So I slipped through the cracks, I feel, with that one. But leading up to that Performance Center tryout, I did extra work for Raw and SmackDown in Calgary and Edmonton. Yeah, in 2013. And I had to cut a promo. I did a good match with Danny Duggan, tryout match, in front of all the agents, before the fans show up, just an empty arena in front of the agents and some of the boys. Had a good match. And then when we did promos, that's where I got noticed big time. I made Paul Heyman jump out of his chair, and he goes,
wow.
"Sign this kid." And then he just like left the room. And I thought I had a job right there. I thought I did it. And then they told me they were going to give me a tryout at the Performance Center. And then Paul Heyman grabbed me, pulled me aside later in the back, and he told me I have big balls. He told me that he was very impressed with the promo. And TJ Wilson, Tyson Kidd, came up to me as well, and he told me, like, that was a feather in your cap, making Paul Heyman do that, jump out of his chair and just leave the room. And then he was like ranting and raving about me when he left the room. And yeah, he just said, despite whatever happens, that's a notch in your belt. You should be proud of that. So yeah, it's one of the best talkers, Paul Heyman, modern day, for him to react the way he did with my promo. Yeah, that was a big one for me as well, for sure. And that's what led to the Performance Center tryout.
Mm-hmm. Well, who else gets to say that they made Paul Heyman jump out of his seat from their promo?
Right? I know. I there's something there, damn it. There's an it factor. I got something. I just need to be in front of the right people at the right time, right place. That's all it is.
Were there any other big names that you wrestled in front of during any of your tryouts?
I had another tryout with Ring of Honor in 2010, and like the original Ring of Honor, not Tony Khan's playing with his little action figures Ring of Honor. I'm talking the real Ring of Honor. I had a tryout match, and I'm undefeated in Ring of Honor. I'm 1-0. But that was really positive. That was good. But for just wrestling names, Chris Masters comes to mind. I wrestled Chris Masters Savio Vega, Ultimo Dragon, Shane Douglas, Juventud Guerrera, Mike Mondo. There's a grocery list of talents. Tommy Billington,
Mhm.
the Bollywood Boys, Johnny Devine. Yeah, I'm missing so many. I have it all written down, but you almost forget. You do this for so long. I'll see guys on TV or Instagram, and I'm like, oh yeah, I wrestled him, or oh yeah, I did a training seminar with him. You just kind of forget after all these years some of the exposure you've been with all these guys, sharing locker rooms and wrestling them. That's just to name a few, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Y- I don't think I'll ever forget that I interviewed the guy that made Paul Heyman jump out of his seat.
Wow, I'm flattered. Thank you. That was quite the moment. I'm glad you feel that way. That means a lot. Thank you very much.
Of
Hey, I'm
course,
glad to be on this show here. I appreciate your time. Thank you for
I
having me.
appreciate your time. Thank you for making this happen.
Absolutely. It takes two.
Oh yeah. Now, I also want to ask, what are some of your goals? Are you planning on trying to get another tryout with one of those companies, or do you want to become a champion of some sort, or what is it for you?
I'm definitely, like I said, there's a place for me somewhere in the wrestling world on a larger scale with a bigger company promotion. I'm still going to be knocking on the door of TNA wrestling. And I think more international work is in the horizon for me as well. And when you talk about championships, the CWE Rumble to Remember, it's a 50-man Rumble, November
Wow.
14th in Winnipeg. The winner gets a number one contendership to the CWE Heavyweight Championship. So I'm going to gun for that one. I think I
Oh
want
yeah.
that gold. I'm getting greedy and forgetting my manners. But I held three championships all at once this
Wow.
past year. I held the Pure Power Wrestling Tag Team belt. I held CW Central Canadian Championship and the Real Canadian Wrestling British Commonwealth Championship. I had three belts in three different promotions, and I was undefeated for almost a year with all of them. So it was a good run. It was so I'm looking for more gold. Absolutely, you get paid more when you have more belts. So that's
Mm.
all about making the money and making a living.
Now, so when did you start wrestling? Was it 2004 when you started getting in the more not backyard wrestling?
Yes, 2004 was my first professional match, and I lied about my age. I was still 17. You had to be 18. I lied and said I was trained, and I wasn't technically trained yet. I was self-trained, and I hopped on a Greyhound bus to Edmonton, and I worked a Camp War show for Monster Pro Wrestling. It was like a practice show where fans and family can come watch in the training facility. And I worked a singles match and a battle royal, and that was my debut, professional debut, 2004.
That is so cool. Now, people that have been wrestling for 1 year say that they are already in so much pain. Wrestling all of these years, how much has it taken a toll on your body?
I've torn my ACL twice in my left knee. Um, Had to get surgery both times for that. That's probably been the most major one. I can't stress stretching enough and just taking care of yourself, staying hydrated, lots of water, stretching, working out, a good diet, healthy diet, organic, non GMO foods, and just building a suit of armor, muscle bound body just to absorb the punishment and the whiplash effects of what we do because it's not ballet, it's extremely physical. So you need to take all those precautions. And even then, there's no guarantees. It's still so physical and it is a dangerous act to be involved in. Part of the reason why I enjoy it so much, like we were talking about earlier, I just enjoy there's something about it, the edginess and the rough and toughness of it all. But yeah, I'd say the ACL tears were some of the worst. I've torn my oblique muscle in my side. That kept me out of action for about a month. It sucked to like laugh and cough and stuff like that. It took a while to heal up. Um, yeah, torn rotator cuffs, partially torn. Takes a while for those to heal up too. The rotator cuff, the ball and sock joint, everything moves so much. It's very touchy and sensitive. Concussions here and there. Um, yeah, there's a grocery list of things. Everyone's different, but you're not going to walk away without something happening. It's just inevitable. It's a physical form of entertainment, and It comes with the territory. The best thing you can do is everything I said: stretching, hydration, good diet, a good muscular body. It's like a suit of armor to absorb the punishment, and then just to work smart. And I'm lucky now. I'm older and wiser, and just Savio Vega told me a really good advice: just having a good routine that you can do with your eyes closed, night after night. That's safe and exciting and effective, and you can do, and it looks good. It's finding that good routine and sticking with that. And of course, you'll sprinkle in things here and there for certain events and special occasions, but you can't be taking risks, high risk, crazy things every night, or else the probability is there you're going to get hurt. You're going to get crash and burn. It's going to happen. And you can see it this day and age with a lot of the new talent this day and age. Spinal neck fusion surgery is like going out of style with a lot of these guys. And I want longevity. I want to keep doing this. And a lot of these guys will not be able to, already getting neck fusion surgery in their 20s and hip replacements and everything else. You got to be safe and smart, and pick your spots and pick the time and place. And it's not every night to take those high risks. Yeah, that's some advice that I could give and what I'm trying to live by. I want a long career like Vern Gagne or Billy Robinson or Nick Bockwinkel. These guys wrestle into like their 60s, for crying out loud. And it's possible. If you're smart enough, you can do that, you know?
Mhm.
Ric Flair, good example too.
Oh yeah, he's been wrestling so long. I can tell you're a fan of his with your little woo.
That's right.
You do some of your promos.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
The
but I've been
nature
trying
boy.
to do my best to stretch. I do DDP yoga with my family.
Nice. Excellent. Good for you. That's a great thing to do. A lot of the wrestlers are right into that. It's very helpful, very beneficial.
Yeah, well, thank you. Also, I had to do a 2 kilometer run for my gym class at school,
Oh,
so I
wow.
decided to try and train outside in my neighborhood, just running every
Yes.
night. I
Very good.
started running 2 kilometers in 20 minutes, and over 2 weeks I was able to cut it down to a bit over or a bit under 12 minutes.
Wow. You're a speed demon. That's impressive. See, that's the thing. It's practice makes perfect. It's repetitions. And you're walking proof of that. That's amazing.
Phew.
And that's another big trick too, I think, is outside. Fresh air and sunlight is extremely important.
Mm.
Being in Mother Nature as much as you can too. It just helps level you out and keeps you healthy. So keep doing that kind of stuff. Cardiovascular stuff, all the running and the cardio is extremely important. So keep that up. I'm glad to hear. I take it from the way you're talking, you are getting ready at some point when you're older to jump in the ring yourself. Is that a goal?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I figure so. I can tell just the way you're talking and telling me these things here. Yes. Well, take all the advice I just took. You
Oh,
won't go wrong with it.
yeah. Um, I also want to ask you, what is your, I actually had someone come up to me today and was like, why do you like wrestling? Wrestling is fake.
Yeah.
What's your reaction to people when they say that wrestling is fake?
You couldn't lace my boots, is what I tell them this day and age. But it's true. Like there's so much behind it. It when I was breaking in and years prior to that, it never got the proper respect. And I think this day and age, it definitely has a lot more respect and eyes on it of how incredibly difficult it is, physically and mentally. But there's still those people you're going to get that just say you're a fake and a phony. But there's nothing fake about. Just tell them to go jump high as they can, land flat on their back on the grass, and then ask them how that felt. You know, every time we take like a bump in that ring, it's the equivalent to a small car crash, the whiplash effects and the impact. So like this, it's not for everyone, and it's of course it's predetermined, but so is every movie you've ever seen, every sitcom, every single reality TV show you've ever watched is all predetermined and plotted out and written. And we're just the most physical form of live entertainment you're going to find anywhere. I like to think of it as like full contact theater. That's exactly what it is. It's full contact. It's in your face. It's live. And we only have one take. We're some of the
Mhm.
best one take performers you're ever going to find anywhere. I only have one chance to get it right. I don't have multiple takes. I don't have wires and strings hanging. I don't got a bunch of stuntmen doing things for me or padding like extra cushioning and padding or rigged, whatever. Like this is one take, one go at it. And we're some of the best one take performers you're going to find physically and on the microphone. And then don't get into even get into the mental part of this, how mentally mutilating this can be on yourself. You
Mhm.
know, like I got to remind myself all the time, like I see a lot of mediocre talent being rewarded this day and age and being on the big stages and getting opportunities. And like I know in my heart that I'm more talented, I'm more marketable, I'm more charismatic, I'm just a better wrestler, a better athlete. But you know, it's a game of, sadly, of who you know and right place and right time and the circumstance. And you know, it just, you can't, that'll mentally mutilate you if you let it. So you just got to focus on yourself, enjoy the journey, and count your blessings, and just focus on what you have control over, and keep your eyes on the prize. Don't be comparing yourself to others, which is easier said than done, but
Mhm.
that's what you got to do if you want to keep your sanity in this as well. But yeah, I kind of went off on a tangent. But for the ones that say it's a fake and phony thing, you couldn't lace my boots. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. Like it takes so much physicality and athleticism and charisma and character. There's so many combinations that need to be put in there. It's a mixed bag and a mixed just melting pot of all different talents and abilities. It's very naive and very ignorant to think like that.
Mhm. And I've done plays in musicals, and zero disrespect, but when we're doing that, we we usually have months in advance to
Yeah.
practice that. Wrestling's sure sometimes you can plan it out, but if you have months to do it, it has to be the best match that has ever been done. You know,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
don't
like,
usually get that.
no, 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 no. That's usually the best. The true art is just putting it together, you know, a couple minutes beforehand, and then going out there and feeling the audience. I think of like someone like Logan Paul, who gets all the time in the world, has all the resources in the world, has his own ring in his backyard, and gets to practice these big matches that are months in advance. You know, it's kind of painting by numbers in a lot of respect. And he's a hell of an athlete, and he's good at what he does, no doubt about it. But
Mhm.
that's not the true art behind it. It's about being able to improvise and feel the people. And the only way you get like that is by doing reps and doing it every night over and over again in front of different audiences, different crowds, different opponents, people that are better than you. And that's how you get good at it. Rome wasn't built in a day, as my first trainer, Chichi Cruz, told me. This takes a long time to piece together and figure out. It just doesn't happen in a year. I know there's some freak cases like a Kurt Angle or someone like that, but it's usually for the average guy or girl, it takes years to piece this together and figure it all out. It's a long journey. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Absolutely. So we're getting near the end of the interview. Before we're finished, I just want to say that I've had a blast so far. Thank you
Me
for
too.
joining us.
Thank you.
Luckily, it's not the very last question, but I did want to ask you how
Yes.
much of you is in your character and how much is just character.
Oh, well, that's a fantastic question, because the best characters are usually yourself just amped up to
Strengthened.
100.
Mhm.
So, yes, Kamikaze is just an extension of me. I can't get away with this at a normal 9 to 5 job working in an office with the eyes and the hair and the outlandish colors. This is me getting to express myself truly and shine bright. And I'm lucky that pro wrestling is the avenue and the profession that allows me to get away with it and do that. I can't do that basically in anything else. So it's me just amped up to 100. That's what you're getting. That's who I am. And it's a release, because I'm an easygoing, kind, polite guy outside of the ring that minds my own business, is respectful. But when that red light comes on and you go through the curtain, the red light fever, as we call it, there's a transformation, a switch that goes off, and I get to, it's a release. I get to let all this out and shine bright, like literally and figuratively. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, and I love it. I love it so much. But yeah, it's me. That's just me amped up. That's what it is. I found myself. It took a long time to find it and get that confidence, but thanks to Roddy Piper in particular, I have found it now, and I'm still. You can never perfect this and never know it all, and you should never think that you do. You stay humble and modest, have that confidence behind things, but you can always get better, and that's the attitude that I have. I can always improve and level up. And that's what I plan on doing is to keep leveling up.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's the best way to live life as a wrestler is just crank yourself up to 100%. And that's another thing that's great about wrestling. You get to truly be yourself.
Yes, yes. That's the true great characters in this business are usually 9 times out of 10 themselves just amped up. That's the and that's just a part of piecing things together and finding yourself and connecting. It's about connecting with the audience as well. I've been lucky I can make that connection with people.
hmm And another thing is that, the fans could tell when you're being real and when you're being fake too.
100%. Yes. And if you don't believe it, if you're a little self conscious and uncomfortable, they see that immediately and
Mhm.
they don't believe it either. Soon as you start believing it and have that confidence, no questions asked. This guy's the real deal. He's serious. He believes it. And it causes a ripple effect. And then everyone else starts believing it too. 100%.
Mhm. Now for the final question. For
Ah,
someone like me who would like to become a professional wrestler, what would you say your best advice to give to me or anybody else is?
okay. Stay healthy, stay active, get in as many sports and physical activities as you can. It's martial arts and MMA is a good one just to have that background and that just knowing, positioning and footing and stuff like that. But just anything, any sports, stay physical, stay active, stay healthy lifestyle, stay away from the drugs and the alcohol. Alcohol is just legalized poison. And, just keep a clear mind and body because your body's your temple and you got to take care of it. Especially in wrestling, you're beating yourself up. You want to have an optimal body and mind and stay healthy and strong. Hit that gym. You gotta look like an athlete and stay healthy and strong. And then for a wrestling school, stretching too. Make sure you stretch all the time. Um, Find a credible, good wrestling school. Your trainers should have at least 20 years of experience or more, and they should have been there, done that in a large company, made money, had a run, and done something, been on TV in some respect. Try and find those type of trainers, those kind of stars, former stars, legends. That's who you want to learn from. And then just to be a sponge, soak everything up. Eyes and ears open, mouth shut. Be respectful and soak everything in. And in time, you'll get respect. And if you keep at it, you'll figure things out and get good at it. But try and just have a good athletic background. Start as young as you can, and stay fit and healthy, and stretch. And a good, credible trainer.
Thank you so much. That is all great advice. And just really thank you so much for giving your time for this.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. I hope we can do it again sometime down the line for a part two. And it'd be an honor. You've been fantastic. You know your stuff. You've done your homework, and I'm very impressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I guess we'll hopefully meet in the ring one day.
I
But I
hope
hope you
so.
have a great evening
Thank you.
and
You as
thank you
well.
so much.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for your time.
Bye.
Bye bye.